I got one of the grilled chicken wraps, and then I just ate the chicken out of the wrap, and then threw everything else away.
Wow. You played tennis in college?
Yes, I played tennis in college.
I thought you played basketball in college.
I also played basketball in college.
This is the best stuff right here.
At CrossFit Lincoln, our passion is positively impacting and changing lives by creating a strong, brave, healthy community through education. We talk about nutrition, fitness, mindset, and more. From the Row Flick studio, it's Aaron Perkypile, Phil Kniep, and Paul Konarski.
Right here.
All right, so welcome to episode 2 of the To Be Named podcast with CrossFit Lincoln. We're excited to be adding Coach Emily, to our podcast moving forward. Since our last recording, Emily has joined CrossFit Lincoln as a full-time coach, and she is also the director of our nutrition services, our nutrition program. So Emily, what we did the first time we sat down, just kind of told, how did you find CrossFit Lincoln? How did you end up here? And tell us just like a 45 to 60 second story about how you got here.
And go. Okay, so I was working out at the Y, and I saw CrossFit games on TV. My friend and I, we looked it up and found CrossFit Lincoln in town. Went to the free Saturday and completely fell apart and thought I was fit, and then I wasn't. And so after that Saturday, I was sore for about 2 weeks, and then I came back and joined the gym and never looked back. That was about 7 years ago. So.
Okay. How long have you been coaching at CrossFit Lincoln?
It'll be 2 years in October.
Very cool. 10-year anniversary of the gym is in October.
Yep, soon.
Yeah. It's coming up. All right, well, I'm excited about today. Because we're adding Emily, we get to start to talk about nutrition a little bit more authoritatively, I would say, because Emily knows a lot more and obviously eats way better than all three of us combined. Because I've eaten at Chipotle and other places way more often than Emily has in her lifetime.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So for those that are listening to the podcast, just a reminder, what we are hoping to we're attempting to do with this podcast is to talk about things that are important to us as human beings, as athletes. And so today, focusing on nutrition, we want to just kind of dive into what is nutrition, how can we start, quote, fixing our nutrition, is my nutrition broken, and that sort of thing. So for those that are with me, I'm just going to pose a question to you. I love CrossFit, right? So I've been doing CrossFit for about 4 years, but I know I should eat better. Where should I start? It's kind of scary. There seems like there's a lot of information out there. No idea how to approach that. How should what should I do if I have questions about nutrition? Where should I go?
First place you can go is CrossFit Lincoln
Wait,
to
what?
our nutrition program. The second place you can go is talk about the outside of the grocery store. So starting with the produce aisle and eating whole foods and meats and stuff like that. So
Does it matter what grocery store I go to?
no, it doesn't matter. As long as you're going to the grocery store and buying fresh fruits and vegetables and cooking them yourself, that's a really good place to start.
Okay. So I know that, Emily, you were kind of sharing with us the comparison between starting CrossFit and starting nutrition and trying to make changes in that area. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I feel like they're both the same. I've gone through the beginning of both of them, starting a nutrition for myself and getting a coach for myself, and also starting CrossFit. They're scary, they're expensive, and there's a lot of unknown, a lot of things you need to learn. And so they're very similar in that way, and they're also similar because you need to gain consistency and good habits with fitness as far as your form and just showing up to the gym. So nutrition, you need to get those habits of drinking water every day, showing up every day to eat, eating something healthy. It's the same thing. You're gonna, maybe get injured and not be able to go to the gym, or you're gonna go on vacation, but it's being able to come back and keep going every day. So.
Paul, what do you do nutritionally? How do you stay on track? Do you track food? Do you weigh food?
I don't track or weigh my food super tightly, but something that Emily started to talk about at the beginning was going to the grocery store. I think that's the most important thing, is probably preparing most of your food. So I try to prepare the vast majority of the food I eat. It's pretty rare Aubrey and I ever eat out. I think that is probably the first biggest step for me personally, is if I'm cooking on my own food, then I eat a lot better stuff than if I'm stopping somewhere else.
Okay. So if there's 7 days a week, 3 meals a day, what percentage of your meals are you preparing at home?
I might do one a week, not cooked myself.
Okay.
It's like
It depends on the
95%.
It's
maybe.
something like that, yeah.
Okay. How
Pretty
about
close.
you? How about you, Phil? How many out of 21 meals? How many meals would you say that you prepare yourself and eat at home, or have prepared at home?
I mean, it depends on the season of life.
Okay.
Like when I'm not as stressed out, it's like 99.9% of the time. And then if I'm stressed out, it's like maybe 90%. So De Leon's is just right by our house. So that's my my go-to. And Sarah and I like De Leon's. So
Super healthy.
super healthy. Homemade.
Handcrafted.
It's
Handcrafted
homemade at De Leon's.
burritos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went and looked up the fitness in 100 words, and this is kind of the mantra of CrossFit, right? This is the definition of fitness and how to be fit in CrossFit. And so the first 26 of the 100 words say eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and no sugar. Keep intake to levels that would support exercise but not body fat. Do you take issue with any of the things in there? Do you think there's anything from a nutritional standpoint that should be added to that?
I would say that's pretty spot on. I mean, it doesn't really get any simpler than that. The part where eating to,
Keep intake levels that will support exercise.
that's probably the level. I mean, the part that is the biggest struggle for people is knowing what that is. Like, how much is enough to support exercise and what you're doing. And if you're in a weight loss situation, where like how many calories intake, that's probably the hardest, but that's pretty spot on.
Do you find it hard to eat that way?
I think it's difficult, the starch portion. Little starches, I feel like a lot of people eat mostly starches, so like breads and pastas and things like that, and then add in vegetables, and we really want to flip that around. So I would say that's probably, from what I've seen, the most difficult part, because those are also the most accessible, longest shelf life, things like that. So
Tell me about what's your favorite vegetable? Don't everyone's jump in at once. Vegetables.
I was gonna say cucumber, but
Are
turns out it's
Snickers
like-
are
I
Snickers
don't know.
bars vegetables?
no.
I would say Brussels sprouts with a little bit of seasoning on it.
What
Baked.
do you season on there?
I don't know what Sarah uses, like Himalayan salt or something like that,
Wow.
and maybe some pepper.
Okay.
So it's
Do you
awesome.
put any oil on them?
I think she puts like a little bit of olive oil maybe, but most of the time I think it's just like dry baked with that seasoning on it.
Cool. What
Yeah.
about you, Paul? What's your favorite vegetable?
Carrots.
Carrots. Nice.
I like to dip them in peanut butter, but if I need a little snack. But most of the time it's just like chopped up and baked. It's
Okay.
pretty good. Yeah. Some
How about
salt
you,
and
Emily?
butter.
I enjoy most all vegetables.
Yeah.
I would say it depends on the season. So squash is going to come up soon, so that'll be my favorite. Squash and like dark leafy greens like kale and stuff.
Okay.
So
Is a sweet potato a starch?
yes,
All potatoes are starches?
yes,
So I can't pick sweet potato as my favorite vegetable?
no.
I asked Emily for all my nutrition rulings. Okay, so my favorite vegetable is probably broccoli and carrots and Brussels sprouts as well. Just a baked Brussels sprout. Doesn't need a whole lot on it. Split them in half. I can't eat them whole. Let's talk about what a person should eat before they work out because I have a foundation member right now who is struggling to kind of get an idea of what's the right pre-workout meal for them and how close to when they work out can they eat. What do you guys usually eat before you work out, and kind of a timeline maybe of when you eat? Paul, let's start with you.
I like to give myself a fair bit of time between eating and working out. I don't really like to have much in my stomach when I'm working out.
What's a fair bit of time?
An hour and a half to 2 hours,
Okay.
something like that, ideally. Okay. If it's like something smaller or pretty small, I could do an hour beforehand and it'd be fine, but I prefer having a little bit more time. And it's basically just regular food. I don't really eat anything. I don't always work out at the same time of day, so it's not like I have a set meal that I eat before I work out. It just is whatever I happen to have ate as the last meal is my pre-workout meal, generally speaking.
Okay.
So if it's a bigger meal, I'm going to need more time. If it is a smaller snack, then I can put that closer to like an hour.
Sure. What about you, Phil? What do you like to eat before, and how close to your workout?
I kind of got it timed out where I eat an hour and a half before I start my warm-up, so it ends up being about 2 hours before a Metcon. So I can like lift and do skill work and stuff like that, but if I do a Metcon and I eat anything before 2 hours, I'm not going to feel very good. And I eat a half a cup of oatmeal, half a cup of applesauce, half scoop of whey protein, and then a little bit of honey. I found that's what I feel fueled the best for my workouts in. So, I mean, everybody's going to be a little bit different because I know that there's, I'm going to say his name, Logan Clevenger, was caught eating fettuccine Alfredo like 5 minutes before he did a workout. So some people can eat. It's different for everybody. Generally, about an hour to 2 hours is about the timing that you would want to eat something. But.
Okay. How about you, Emily?
Yeah, I try to eat some sort of fruit. So apple, plums, grapes, dates, stuff like that. Yeah, same as Phil, probably an hour and a half before I start the workout. So if I'm going to 4 p.m. class, I'll start eating around 2:33.
How long did it take for you to kind of get an idea, playing around with what you ate and the timing of when you ate? How long do you think it took to kind of figure that out?
Still going.
A couple of years.
I would say mine took like maybe 8 or 9 years. Gosh, about 2 years ago, I was not feeling very good in my workouts. And then I figured out I was eating too much fat beforehand. So at that point in time, I was working out in the mornings most generally. And I would start my day with like eggs and a little bit of oatmeal, and then like an apple or something. But it was like 6 eggs. So eggs are
And they were raw.
a little bit fatty. So I just was feeling super lethargic during my workouts. And then I started working with a nutrition coach, and we kind of changed that up and started doing the oatmeal and whey protein and applesauce last year. And I figured, taking that fat out before my workout and replacing it with mostly carbohydrates and easily digestible foods and a little bit of protein was what clicked for me. So it took me a long time, and I've been doing CrossFit for a little while. So it just takes a little while to maybe figure out what your ideal pre-workout meal is.
What should I eat if I work out at 5 o'clock in the morning? Does it mean I have to get up at 3:30 so I can eat a pre-game meal, pre-workout meal?
No, you don't have to get up that early. I would say eat something small.
Like
Maybe
a donut? A small donut.
A small
No.
A cake donut, because those are smaller than the...
No, like a small piece of fruit.
Like a half a banana.
Yeah, like half a banana or an apple. Something that I do
yeah.
when I work out earlier in the morning is I will cut the apple at night. And so in the morning, all I have to do is put it in my mouth. Like just taking any extra time out of there so you can just have it and go. So that's the first thing that I do is just apple or something.
Are you guys imagining Emily just rolling over out of bed and shoving pieces of apple in her mouth?
Yeah, so get a mini fridge, put it by your bed, so you just open the door and still be sleeping. Yeah.
All right.
So then what do you eat after you work out?
I was gonna add before, like I've worked out early in the morning and I've found that like applesauce and a little bit of whey protein like an hour before going to the gym is nice. I mean, that still means you get up a little bit earlier, but applesauce digests pretty quickly and whey protein digests pretty quickly, so it's not one of those types of foods that's gonna sit in your stomach for a long time.
Cool. What do you eat after you work out? What do you eat, Paul?
Food.
Any kind of
Everything.
food? All of it?
You can be real fancy with it, or you can be pretty simple. And okay, I tend to get pretty hot and sweaty when I work out. Not everybody, I guess, gets as sweaty as I do. But as a result of that, I need a little bit of time after I finish working out to let my body temperature cool down before I have an appetite. So I usually feel best if I drink some water right after my workout and or a protein shake, and then a meal within an hour or so. But sometimes I try to start with water and then possibly a protein shake and a banana or a piece of fruit or something like that. Or I would just go straight to a meal, one or the other.
Cool. What do you eat after your workout, Emily?
I usually have a banana, and then a little bit later, like rice and sweet potatoes, stuff like that.
Okay. What about you, Phil?
I usually have like a protein type of thing. So Max Muscle makes arm. I usually take a couple scoops of arm like right away, and then I try to eat a meal within an hour of working out. That's usually a little higher carbohydrate than a normal meal.
So carbs aren't bad?
No.
Carbs aren't bad, but some carbs are bad. Is that
Or maybe too many.
too many?
You
Too
know,
many
like-
all the time is not a great.
Processed sugars, maybe not.
Yeah, the timing of it and the type of carbohydrate that you're eating. So it's kind of defining the carbohydrate and when you're eating. They said processed, like processed sugars and stuff like that are not going to be the greatest thing for you. But you like sweet potatoes?
I love
Those are
sweet
probably
potatoes.
a decent carb for a post-workout type of thing that's natural and has got a lot of vitamins and nutrients in it.
Sure. Well, I think the definition of world-class fitness in 100 words, where it talks about an intake level that will support exercise but no body fat, and this idea of eating no sugar, that processed kind of carbohydrate that breaks down into pretty bad sugar. Yeah, I think that pretty well covers what you should and shouldn't eat pre and post workout.
Mm-hmm. And I would add on that, after your workout is a great time. Like if you are going to have sweet potatoes or rice or something like that, after your workout is an ideal time to have your like largest dose of carbohydrate for the day. So it's a good spot to put it.
Well, that's going to close out this episode. There's so much more to talk about nutrition, and it feels like we could keep going for a long time, but we're going to cut this one short, and we'll hit next time. We're going to talk about the beauty of scaling, and when should I scale, why should I scale, what should I do if I get hurt at the gym or outside of the gym, should I keep coming, etc. So join us next time. Thanks again to RoRoFlix Studios for hosting us in our podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
I went to a small school, so I kind of got bored. It was either play a sport or get drunk. And so I decided to play sports. So yeah, I just walked on the tennis team and
Did you ever play tennis drunk?
No, but hungover, yes. Please don't. Yeah.
So when was the last time you've eaten at a fast food establishment? And that could include a Chipotle. I don't know if you're a Chipotle fan.
Chipotle
when
is
we
not
had
fast food.
when we
Come
had
on.
Chipotle for our
It's fast
meeting. When we had Chipotle for our meeting.
Okay. So June or July?
I don't know.
Into
June.
June.